Hey, Bougie Gang, how are you? Happy Sunday. Oh my God. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. It's been a great weekend. Who got here first? Nesto's new Bobo shoes. The Bobos, okay? Hi, I am Coco. Hey, Key Collins. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? Oh, goodness gracious. We're gonna get into some reading today. Let's read, honey. Okay, like my girl Nene Leaks would say, let's read, honey. How is let's read. Okay. Yesterday I went live for a bit in members. It was on the almost kind of the late tip because I feel like it was after midnight when I let y'all go. But yeah, if you're in members and you missed it, go check it out. Um I'm working on something. I was having to test out something new. You know, when you get into something new, like StreamYard is okay. It was funny. Somebody asked a question yesterday. I don't know if you're here or not. I can't remember who it was, but someone said, "Why is the chat double on my screen?" I guess they were watching it on their TV. And then when you're watching on your TV, it runs alongside. So with the new setup that I'm testing, you might, if you're watching on TV, just turn the chat off. I can either have it or not have it, but everybody's not watching on a TV screen. So I would say if you're with the new that's not on the screen right now, if you're seeing double, then just go ahead and turn the one off on your TV, because I didn't see that yesterday, but was rewatching it and reading the chat, and then somebody had that question, so I said, let me address that, because somebody may be curious, right? Okay, guys, let's get into it. I had a really nice birthday. Thank you, guys. I posted a few little pictures. We kept it very low key and quiet. My family gave me some really nice presents, and I still haven't decided what I'm gonna get from you guys. But when I put it together, I'll let you guys know what you guys got me. So I appreciate it very much. I am a true Virgo, so when I get birthday money, it goes for a birthday gift. Okay. Something I can remember and say, this is what Bougie Gang got me, or this is da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So it will go towards a gift. Okay. Happy Sunday. The library is open. Yes, let's read. Yes, we're going to get a reading lesson today. Oh my God, the cake is so good. It's so good. Guys, take a minute, do me a favor, show me some love, and hit the thumbs up for me, because likes do matter. I know sometimes you don't get alerts and things like that. If you want to help with the alert problem, go ahead and smash it. Smash it, twerk on it, pop it, flip it, whatever you got to do to it. Handle it, because that way everything gets calculated in these algorithms. So you never know. So if you can make sure to handle that thumbs up business, it's very much appreciated. Yeah, she didn't realize that she had the YouTube chat engaged. Oh, on her TV. Yeah. You can turn that off. But if the chat is on the screen that I'm transmitting out, that has nothing to do with like the chat that's on your TV from that's your option from YouTube. You can turn that off. So yeah, if you are watching any content creator that's got the chat feature engaged on what they're transmitting out to the world, you can turn your chat off. That way you're not getting double. So yeah. Oh my god, the cake was delicious. It is delicious. I actually girl, I was picking at it today, so got myself a I just cut myself a piece and just had like 2 bites and then put some tin foil on it. If you see something in the refrigerator over here and it's got some tin foil on it, it's probably mine because I'm good for making something and then just put some foil on it and walk away. So, yep, that's me. So yeah, I just cut a piece of it, but I don't know why I did that, but I only really just wanted a bite. Um, let me fix something. Okay. Boom. All right, let's get into it because I don't know how long it's going to take us to read this, and I don't want to hold y'all all day. Okay. All right, let's get into it. How's everybody doing? And again, if I didn't say it already, what flavor was it? Chocolate on the first layer. I think it was like 6 inches and it was like a 6 and a 8. It could have even been I don't think it was 4 inches. It might have been like a 6 inches. Babe, was it 6 inches and 8 inches? My cake? Do you remember? What was the dimensions of my cake? 6 inches and 8 inches? It was 6 and 8. So 6 chocolate on top, and then the bottom was 8. And it's like multiple layers. The top tier, I it was like 6 layers, 6 thin layers. And you know what it reminded me of? Do you guys remember back in the day? Much better. Much better. Thank you for asking. Um, the magic trick, if you ever stub your finger like that, is to go to the emergency room and have them pop it. They have some sort of medical device that can pierce your nail, and it immediately, when I tell you his finger gushed blood, it was absolutely something for a Facebook video. It could have been 10 million views. Like it would have been like at least 2 million, the way that he pierced the finger and it just went just blood. It was crazy. Yeah, my husband had a like a little freak accident with his finger and broke the tip of his finger like a week and a half ago, but he's fine. But it's like the finger is back, almost looks like it's back to normal. When you see people that have those like blood blisters under their nail, like you really should go to the ER and have them um uh do that, whatever it was, that procedure they did. It's like looks like it's back to normal, but obviously his finger is still fractured, but it's getting better. So thank you for asking. Um, so do you guys remember those little Pepperidge Farm square cakes back in the day? They used to have like chocolate with yellow cake, and then they had the really good chocolate fudge cake. And they would be in the freezer aisle. You take them out for like 20, 30 minutes and girl, just cut it up. Why did this cake taste like a Pepperidge Farm cake from back in the day when they were like real good? My brother, he's not fat or anything, but when we were really young, he's 8 almost 9 years older than me. Back in the day, if my mom would buy like maybe 2 or 3 like for the like a weekend or whatever, my brother would take a whole cake out the freezer with some ice cream and he would sit there and eat the whole damn cake. Okay. He would eat the whole thing. He would eat mountains of food. He played football and ran track, so he could eat a lot of food, and he was not a big guy. But I just remember him eating Like if my mom bought them, put them in the the square deep freezer, he would literally get a cake. If he did not eat the whole thing, he would eat half of it with some ice cream. But I just remember them being so good, and it just reminded me of the Pepperidge Farm cakes, but it was really, 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 really good. It still is really, really good. We pretty much demolished the first tier, like the first night and going into the next day, and now we're definitely into the yellow cake. So it's really good. This is like one of the best birthday cakes I've ever had, like aesthetic wise, very beautiful. And then it also tastes good, which is even better. But anyway, let's get into it, guys. Let's see. Let's get into, am I on the right thing? Yes. Okay. Here we go. Y'all, I had myself all set up before we started. Okay. This is what we're at right now. This came up earlier in the week and I thought we would talk about it. Why not, right? This is the transcript from when Erica King went into court and pled guilty. It's, sometimes when you're listening to stuff, it doesn't hit the same way as it hits on the written record. So let's just get into it, right? Ain't nothing to it but to do it. This was stamped in on July 21st of 2025 at the Superior Court of Fulton County, state of Georgia. Okay. This is the co-defendant. We're going to talk about it, of a criminal action. Okay. Heard in front of Judge Dunaway. And it was Assistant District Attorney Will Wooten and the attorney for the defendant, who was Kristen Howell. I don't want to show to girl. God forbid I show any kind of address or anything. So we're just going to zip on by. We're going to zip on by that. So, because we're not playing with that. Okay, let's get into it. Get your snack and your chips. I am out of Crystal Light again. I'm so mad. I normally keep like a really good supply of Crystal Light on hand. Whew. I think last time I ordered, I don't know what happened, but I just ordered some today, so I'll have it later on this afternoon. It seemed like it happened so long ago. Can you believe it? It really does. It seemed like it happened a long time ago, and I'm sure if I were sitting in jail, yeah. Okay, let's get into it, guys. 36 pages, but I feel like this should go fast because of the way, it's not, it's 36 pages, but it's, transcript pages. So anyway, let's get into it. Thank you. Let me see how we're doing on the likes. Let me go over to my monitor. Can I even see that over here? Let's see. Yes. Okay. 115. We're doing I'm assuming we're doing our best. Okay. If you just came in, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. Drop some Sundays in the chat. Drop some prayer hands because the defendant, one of the defendants is home, probably just getting home from church services, probably making a lovely dinner. And then there's another defendant who is over there at Cobb County Adult Detention Center. And I'm sure that's not fun, right? I'm sure it's not fun. So drop some prayer hands and some Sundays, okay? Because it's been a lot of Sundays to go by, okay? All righty, June 24th, 2024. We're just gonna see how this goes, but you guys can follow along at this moment, right? The court. So thereupon the following proceedings were had. Isn't that interesting? It sounds like the beginning of a little fairy tale. Thereupon the following proceedings were had. The court. All right, Attorney Howell, what are we doing today with Miss King's case, please? Miss Howell, Your Honor, Miss King will be tendering a negotiated plea this morning. Okay. The court. Okay. Very well. All right. Miss King, good morning. How you are here on the case 24 SC 001723. I'm going to say the RICO. Charged with conspiracy, identity fraud, false statements, a number of charges. Was Judge Dunaway being a little was he being a little persnickety? Was he throwing shade when he said charged with conspiracy, identity fraud, false statements, and a number of charges? And I'll let the state go over all the charges with you, but you have the right, you have this indictment, and understand that you are ready to resolve this case today. Defendant, that would be Erica Kang. Yes, Your Honor. The court. Okay. All right. If you would please raise your right hand. Erica King, I have been first duly sworn, was examined, and testified as followed. The court, you may lower your hand. Would you please state and spell your true, correct legal name for the record? ERICKA All right. And are you the Erica King named in the indictment 24 SC 001723, charged with the offense that we went over? Are you the person they're speaking of? Yes, Your Honor. All right, very well, Miss King. Attorney Howell, do we have your authority and Mrs. King's authority to sign the indictment and plea of guilty on you all's behalf? Yes, Your Honor. Okay, all right. And ADA Wooten, do we have the state's authority to sign the indictment and plea of guilty on you all's behalf? Yes, Your Honor. All right, very well. All right, Miss King. What's going to happen now is the Assistant District Attorney, ADA Wooten, is going to have some questions and information for you. If you would please answer his questions, if there's anything you don't understand, or if you need more time to speak with your attorney, Howell, just let me know. All right. Thank you, ADA Wooten. Thank you, Judge. And then it says examination by Mr. Wooten. Ms. King, are you currently under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or medication this morning? No, sir. Is there any medication that you normally take that you have not taken today? No, sir. How old are you? 46. How far did you go in school? Bachelor's. Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language? Yes. Do you understand that you are charged with the following offenses? Count 7, conspiracy to commit unauthorized practice of law. Count 8, filing false documents. Count 9, identity fraud. Count 10, identity fraud. Count 11, identity fraud. Count 12, filing false documents. Count 13, identity fraud. Count 14, identity fraud. Count 17, conspiracy to commit unauthorized practice of law. Count 18, false statements. Count 19, identity fraud. Count 20, identity fraud. Count 21, identity fraud. Count 32, conspiracy to commit unauthorized practice of law. Count 33, filing false statements. Count 44, identity fraud. Count 35, identity fraud. Count 37, conspiracy to commit unauthorized practice of law. And count 38, identity fraud. Yes. Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges, and that if you pled not guilty or if you remain silent, you may receive a jury trial? Yes. Have you reviewed the waiver of rights form with your attorney? We didn't have that. Ms. Howell said we did not have that. Wooten said, okay. Has your attorney gone over the rights that you have and the rights that you're giving up by pleading guilty with you? No, I have not gone over that. Right. I have not gone over the rights. Wooten said, okay. As delineated as we normally do it in open court. Okay. Mr. Wooten says, I'll go through them with you, Miss King. Have you had enough time to speak with your lawyer about all of the facts and circumstances? I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I want to say that the day maybe she had just met Miss Howell, not that time, but maybe the time before. When by the time that they did this, that this might have been the second time that she had met Miss Howell. Have you had enough time to speak with your lawyer about the facts and circumstances known to you surrounding the charges in this case? Because she had a paid attorney initially, and she really didn't need one for a long time, until this happened, and then she got one from the public defender's office, and they came through, but she only met her a couple of times, but she handled the business, right? Um, have you had enough time to speak with your lawyer about all of the facts and circumstances known to you surrounding the charges in this case and including the potential defenses? Yes. All right. Do you need any more time to speak with your lawyer this morning? No. And are you satisfied with your lawyer's representation? Yes. Mr. Wooten and Judge, just for the record, the state is unaware of any outstanding warrants related to these charges. I don't believe that there's anything open at this time. Mr. Wooten, Miss King, have you discussed the minimum and maximum sentence for each of the charges that you're pleading guilty to today with your lawyer? And if not, I'll go through them right now. Okay. Do you understand that the minimum and maximum sentences are as follows? As to count 7, 17, 32, and 37, those are conspiracy to commit unauthorized practice of law, which are punishable by up to $1,000 fine and up to 12 months in jail. Count 8, 12, and 13, filing false documents, each punishable by $10,000 fine and the minimum of 1 year to 10 years in prison. Count 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 19, 20, 21, and 30, 34, 35, and 38. Identity fraud, each punishable by $100,000 in fines and a minimum of 1 year up to 10 years in prison. And count 18, false statements, up to $1,000 fine, minimum of 1 year up to 5 years. Do you understand that these are the possible sentence ranges on these charges? Yes. And do you understand that this is a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will recommend the court a sentence of 7 years to serve 2 years, the 2 years commuted to time served, balance of 5 years suspended upon compliance with special conditions? Yes. So that was the original deal, but you're going to see what happens. And do you also understand that the court does not have to accept the recommendation and that the court could sentence you to a maximum on each charge and could run the sentences concurrently and one after the other? Yes. Do you understand that this plea of guilty can be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction as well as in other jurisdictions, including the federal court? Yes. Are you currently on probation or parole? No. Do you understand that if the court accepts the sentence recommendations and suspends a portion of your sentence, that means that you cannot violate the law of any governmental unit or any condition of your sentence, or that court may revoke the balance of your sentence and remand you into custody? Yes. Do you understand that you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm? Yes. Do you understand that you are not do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, a guilty plea will affect your immigration status and result in deportation, just like a conviction at trial would, and that this is true regardless of any advice given to you by anyone else? Yes. Do you understand that there may be other adverse consequences as a result of this guilty plea, including consequences on your right to vote, the right to hold a public office, the right to serve on a jury, the right to obtain a passport, the right to receive, possess, and transport a firearm, or the ability to obtain employment? Yes. Do you understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, if you use, receive, possess, transport a firearm, or if you use a firearm in a crime, you'll be guilty of a separate offense, which may carry a sentence up to 15 years in prison? Yes. Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're waiving any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses? Yes. Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up each of the following rights? I'll go through a list just to let me know that you understand. First, the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself, the right to confront witnesses called to testify against you, the right to use the power and the process of the court to compel the production of any evidence, witnesses in your defense, the right to have assistance of counsel at trial, the right to be presumed innocent, the right to testify on your own behalf, the right to have the charges against you proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to appeal your conviction. Do you understand that you're giving up all of those rights by entering a plea today, ma'am? Yes. Has anyone forced you, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter this guilty plea today other than the state sentencing recommendation? No. Is it your decision to waive all of these rights, enter a plea of guilty because you are, in fact, guilty? Yes. How do you plead on count 17? How do you plead on count 7, 17, 32, and 37? Conspiracy to commit unauthorized practice of law. Counts 8, 12, 33, filing false documents. Count 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 19, 20, 21, 34, 35, and 38, identity fraud. And count 18, false statements. How do you plead on those charges? Guilty. Y'all, we're at page 10. Okay, hold on. Let me see what you guys are saying. Woo! Let me take a drink of water. Oh my God. How's everybody doing today? Make sure you hit the thumbs up for me. I appreciate it. Oh my God. Okay, guys, we're at the part where ERICKA just puts in a guilty plea. Hey, Make Beauty Forever. Hey, Keonce. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Nesto is cooked. Wait till we get further down. This is where it gets a little interesting. That's why I wanted to read this. Okay. Because, hearing it, being distracted, because, I think Pam has this on her channel, like the actual video. It could be at Dennis's, I'm not sure, but just reading it, I remember seeing it, so absolutely. But reading it back now, like some of the things you can't, you know what I mean? If you, for me, sometimes if I'm not paying attention, you miss a few things. So it's just different when you read it back, because then it's like, oh wow, I don't remember that. Because I can't say I remember watching, but I just don't remember, I think maybe I watched it one time. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just different reading it back. Thank you, Petty Patty. I appreciate you mentioning that. Okay, let's get back into it. So she puts in a plea of guilty. Is your guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of the charges against you? Yes. Do you understand that you have a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction? Yes. Do you understand that you have only 4 years from today for the felony charges and 12 months from today for the felony charge to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this plea? Yes. Mr. Wooten, Your Honor, as to the factual basis of this case had proceeded to trial, the state submits the proof which shows as follows. Okay, get ready for this. The charges to which the defendant is pleading guilty are a part of a larger RICO scheme perpetrated primarily by her co-defendant, Earnest Williams. Hold on a second. While Williams is charged with approximately 26 separate criminal schemes within the RICO, this defendant's involvement is limited to 4 of those schemes. Each of those schemes involves a fraudulent use of identities of 3 attorneys licensed to practice law in the state of Georgia, while the defendant was fraudulently representing Earnest Williams in various legal proceedings. 2 of the attorneys, Nicholas Bengine and Eileen Nicole Mormon, they are based in Atlanta metro area. The third petitioner, April Holloway, practices immigration law in Washington, D.C. She is present in the courtroom today, does wish to make a statement to the court at the appropriate time. None of these attorneys know ERICKA King. None of them know Earnest Williams. None of them ever represented Earnest Williams. None of them consented to anyone using their names, their bar numbers, or any information as it relates to Earnest Williams. As to the individual schemes that make up these charges, as to the count 7 through 14 between February 1st of 2021 and March 18th of 2021, the defendant conspired with Earnest Williams to commit unauthorized practice of law related to a dispossessory proceeding against Earnest Williams in the Magistrate Court of Fulton County. That's case number 20ED167845. In that case, the defendant appeared before the court in a video recorded Zoom hearing. She identified herself to Judge Todd Ashley as April Holloway and pretended to be a lawyer. The defendant also filed several documents with the court, including entry of appearance and notice of appeal, that both contained false representation that those documents had been prepared by attorneys April Holloway and Nicholas Bengine. It says Benson, but it's Bengine. As to count 17 through 21 between March 24th of 2021 and April 5th, 2021, the defendant conspired with Earnest Williams to commit unauthorized practice of law related to a criminal investigation being conducted by Sandy Springs Police Department Detective Isaiah Tomlin. Another one of Williams' victims, named Regina Delaney, had reported to the police that Williams stole a Harley Davidson motorcycle and a big Tex, it's TEX, trailer from her. Detective Tomlin was assigned to that case and was conducting an investigation. During the investigation, the defendant falsely held herself out to the detective as attorney April Holloway during at least 3 interactions. The first was a 3-way phone conversation with the detective and with Earnest Williams on or about March 24th, 2021. The second was a one-on-one telephone conversation on or about April 1st, 2021 with Detective Tomlin. And the third consisted of an email communication April 5th, 2021 and April 9th, 2021, during which the defendant used attorney Holloway's identity. Those emails were sent from a fraudulent email address, April Esquire, as in Esquire and Goldberg Sutton LLP.com. Goldberg Sutton was a name of a fictitious law firm that the defendant was using. As to counts 32 and 35, on or about February 7th, 2022, the defendant conspired with Earnest Williams to commit unauthorized practice of law related to a warrant application proceeding against Williams in the Magistrate Court of Fulton County, case number 21 MAGC 00111. In that case, Regina Holloway is seeking to take out private warrants for the theft of her motorcycle and her trailer. The defendant appeared before the court in a video recorded Zoom hearing. She identified herself as attorney Holloway to Judge Ashley Drake, and she again pretended to be a lawyer. During one portion of the hearing, the defendant logged out of the Zoom call. She then logged back in, and her name at the time was displayed as ERICKA King. Judge Drake asked who ERICKA King was, and the defendant stated that ERICKA King was her paralegal and that the name was an error and was a mistake. The judge later became suspicious of the defendant, and at one point during the hearing, she asked the defendant to provide her bar number. The defendant refused to provide her bar number, and she stated that she had privacy concerns about sharing it. Of course, the real reason she did not provide the number was because she did not know April Holloway's bar number. The defendant also filed a notice of appearance and substitution of counsel that contained the false representation that document had prepared by April Holloway. Finally, as counts 37 and 38, on or about June 10th, 2022, the defendant conspired with Earnest Williams to commit unauthorized practice of law by sending a fraudulent demand letter to Mark Kroll, Krol, who had leased property to Williams. The defendant used attorney Nicole Mormon's identity to send a letter which purported to be sent on behalf of Black Heritage Radio Trust Association. In that letter, the defendant falsely accused Mark Kroll of committing criminal trespass and unlawful surveillance. The letter was sent on Goldberg Sutton letterhead and was assigned Eileen Mormon was assigned. It says assigned. Maybe they meant to say signed. Was assigned Eileen Mormon, attorney at law, Wealth Management Division. All of these crimes took place in Fulton County, Georgia. Judge, as to the defendant's prior criminal history, she does have 2 prior felony convictions. The first in 2003 for identity fraud, forgery, and financial transaction card theft in DeKalb County. A second in 2004 for theft by taking and forgery in Gwinnett. As to the recommendation, Judge, the state recommends as follows: count 14, 7 years to serve 2, the 2 commuted to time served, and the balance suspended upon conditions. Count 17, 12 months to serve, commuted to time served. Counsel 18, 5 years served 2, commuted to time served with the balance suspended on conditions. Count 19, 20, 21, all of those 7 years to serve 2, commuted to time served, balance suspended on special conditions. Count 32, 12 months to serve, commuted to time served. Counts 33, 34, 35, all 7 years to serve 2, commuted to time served, balance suspended on conditions. Count 37, 12 months to serve, commuted to time served. Count 38, 7 years, commuted to 2, to time served, the balance suspended. All of those counts to run concurrent for all effective sentence, and 7 years to serve 2. Those 2 commuted to time served, the balance of 5 years suspended upon compliance with the following conditions for a period of 5 years to begin today. One, the defendant must not serve as an accountant, bookkeeper, fiduciary holder, or manager of funds, or work in any position of fiduciary trust for any other person, organization, business group, or other entity in any capacity without express approval from probation. 2, the defendant shall not represent any person other than herself in any legal proceeding and shall not at any time hold herself out to any person as an attorney. 3, the defendant shall not possess any personal identifying information belonging to any person other than herself. Any children she may have or any spouse she may have. 4, the defendant shall submit to a Fourth Amendment waiver. 5, the defendant shall truthfully testify in any legal proceedings related to this matter. 6, the defendant shall have no contact with any other victims, including April Holloway, Nicholas Benzine, Nicole Mormon, Mark Krall, Elena Krall, and also no contact with Earnest Williams. Number 7, the defendant shall commit to no further violations of the law of this state, any other state, the United States, or any political subdivision of this state, any other state, or the United States. Just to put on the record, the defendant did serve approximately 240 days in Fulton County Jail, which pursuant to 2 years would put her at parole eligibility, which is why we're willing to commute that to 2 years to time served. Additionally, she did agree to cooperate earlier on this investigation. She agreed to cooperate more than a year ago, and she's provided the state with a sizable amount of information concerning Earnest Williams. She agreed to testify truthfully. She is a convicted felony, but her last only conviction was about 20 years ago, and she has no new arrests since the offer was made to her in 2023. Again, Judge April Holloway is present in the courtroom, and she would like to make a statement at the appropriate time. Okay, Attorney Howell, would you like to hear from Attorney Holloway first, or should I hear from you? And then how would you like to proceed? Ms. Howell says, I would prefer you hear from Ms. Holloway. The court, okay. So if you all would have a seat, and I'll hear from Attorney Holloway, and we'll come back. Yes, ADA Wooten, the podium is fine. Good morning. And then says the witness. And she says, good morning, Your Honor. The court says, please state and spell your name. The witness is April Holloway. The court states, all right, and Attorney Holloway, I'll hear from you. The witness, Your Honor, my name is April Holloway. I practice in immigration in Washington, D.C. I'm licensed here in Georgia and Washington, D.C. That I wanted to say today is personal. The past few years have been very difficult for me. During this time that this had been going on, I've had to hold my aunt's hand while our cousin passed in front of us. My mother's house was burned down. I lost my father. And while I should have been able to be in grief and recovery of these things, instead, I have to communicate with the Georgia State Bar. Because of this, check my trust account. Because of this, I am a solo practitioner. My name is everything. We do not know where else she's used my name. This will always be a reason I have to check my credit report. And yet I'm not going to let this take me out of my character, because I believe in people and I believe in goodness. And I really hope that the defendant chooses to not do this to anyone else again. We all have problems, and we can all make each other's lives a little bit better by not being intentionally destructive. And so I'm not in opposition of her plea agreement. I'm not in opposition to leniency. I just make a plea not to hurt anyone else this way again. And that's it. That was very sweet, right? The court, thank you. And thank you for coming. Sorry you had to be here, Miss Howell. Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, as previously stated, my client is 46 years old. She does have a high school degree as well as some college background. I thought she said she had a bachelor's. Your Honor, she is before the court accepting responsibility in this case. However, we do feel it is important to note that as the indictment itself reads, she does believe, as the indictment says, that she was solicited and coerced by Mr. Williams in many ways. He had first approached her at a time where she realized, well, her health was declining. We do have the letter here where she's been recently diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. She so she so she it would be or position that he had preyed off her vulnerability. They actually met in church and he kind of held himself out to be a friend when he was in fact not that. Nevertheless, she is accepting responsibility as to the state said. And as the state said, she has cooperated since the beginning of the matter. She does have limited criminal history. She does have one child. We are accepting the plea as negotiated, but there is a concern about one of the conditions number 4, the blanket Fourth Amendment waiver, right? This is a suspended sentence. She is not going to be on probation. And I know normally it's just suspended upon no further violence of the maybe if they meant to say violence of the law, which if she was to violate the law, that would kind of reinstate everything. But we would be opposed because of her medical condition. I mean, she told me that number of medications she's on and things that she will have to go through and endure, would like to maintain some semblance of privacy as possible, as opposed to a blanket Fourth Amendment right, since she will not be on probation. So that would be the only thing that we are asking the court as well as the state to modify. Other than that, it is a negotiated plea and we accept the other conditions. And I don't believe that you will have any further problems out of Miss King. The court says, okay, understood. So this is a felony number 3. She served less than a year in custody and we are calling it 2 years and there's no probation, no fine. I don't think I'm going to accept this plea. That's what the judge said. I don't know if you guys remember that. He basically sent them back to the drawing board to like kind of review the deal and come back. I don't believe felony. So felony number 3 with this set of facts under this is an appropriate sentence for felony number 3. This set of facts. So I'm not going to accept this plea. I'm not going to accept this sentence. How about that? Ms. Howell, is the court inclined to indicate what the court would accept? Yes, I'll let you all discuss, but at a minimum, I believe an appropriate sentence would have some sort of probation supervision. I think an appropriate sentence would have more incarceration time, but I'm open to probation and a fine with the condition of testifying. I also do not believe that an appropriate sentence calls 237 2 years. Oh, 237 days, 2 years. Maybe call that a year, commute a year, but I think an appropriate sentence would be some probation with some amount of fine, but I think the appropriate sentence would have more incarceration time given these facts, the length of time. I'm looking at the state's indictment. The state has alleged that this began in 2021 and it went on for a number of years before a number of different courts. But at a minimum, I think some probation, some amount of fine to begin and to get an appropriate sentence on these of these set of facts and felony number 3. So I'll let you all have some further discussion. Ms. Howell, yes. So it is her resolve or her wish. She would like to resolve it today. And the court says, well, Ms. Howell says yes. So it is her resolve or her wish. She would like to resolve it today. The court says, okay, so I'll let you all have some further discussion. Okay, very well. Mr. Wooten says, thank you, Judge. And then they recess. So then they come back. All right, very well. Let's go back to the record with Miss ERICKA King, case number 24 SC 001723. Miss King, did you have an opportunity to discuss further, more time to speak with your lawyer, Miss Howell? Defendant, yes. Do you need any further time to discuss the case with Attorney Howell? No. So, Miss King, I did not accept the negotiated plea that was presented by your attorney and the district attorney's office. I do want to make sure you understand, ma'am, that you do not have to plead guilty. You have an absolute right to plead not guilty. You could remain silent and the court would enter a not guilty on your behalf. At that point in time, we would set your case for trial. You have the right to a trial by jury of 12 citizens. At that trial, you would have a presumption of innocence in your favor. The burden would be on the state to prove its case and all of the cases charged against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You would have the right to the assistance of an attorney to represent you during the course of the trial and your first level of appeal if you are convicted. You have the right to confront and to cross-examine any witnesses the state calls to testify against you. You have the right to remain silent. No one can force you to say anything to testify against yourself. Again, the burden is on the state to prove its case against you beyond the reasonable doubt. But you also have the right to testify and present evidence, and no one can stop you from taking the stand and presenting any testimony on your behalf. You also have the right to use the court's subpoena power to compel witnesses and documents into court, other evidence into court on your behalf if you so choose. And again, if you are convicted, you would have the right to file post-judgment motions, motions for new trial, appellate motions, motions for appeal, and you would have the right to an attorney if those first level appeals at those first level of appeal review. So with that being said, let me hear from the district attorney's office. Mr. Wooten, yes, Judge, we have come with a new negotiated resolution of the court if the court is willing to accept. I'll just give the affected sentence, which will be 10 years to serve 1. The balance probated with $5,000 fine. All of the same special conditions as before, with the exception of removing the Fourth Amendment waiver as a special condition, just because that would be part of the probation. So as to the individual counts, 14 would be 10 to serve 1, the balance probated with a $5,000 fine. Counts 17, 32, and 37, which are misdemeanor counts. Those are 12 months to serve commuted to time served. Count 18, 5 years to serve 1, commuted to time served with the balance probated. And the remaining counts, all 10 years to serve 1, commuted to balance probated. And I can put those special conditions back on the record if the court would like for me to. I might need you to, but not serve as a fiduciary, not represent herself as an attorney, not possess anyone else's personal identification, testify truthfully when called upon, no contact with the victims, no contact with the co-defendant, of course, no violations of criminal laws. Yes, Judge. All right. Miss King, did you have any opportunity to discuss this with your lawyer, Attorney Howell? And what would you like to do? The witness, yes, I discussed it and I agree with all the negotiated with the new negotiated plea I would like to submit. Okay, Attorney Howell. Your Honor, the only other thing I would ask on her behalf, and I had not, I just thought of it as we were standing up here, that I would ask the court to possibly give her a behavioral incentive date, that after 5 years, if her fine is paid for in full and she's had no further violations, that it can automatically be suspended. The court said, okay. I hadn't run that by, but we would be asking the court for that. Judge Mr. Wooten, Judge, the state's response to that, she's not entitled to the behavioral incentive date under the statute. What we would propose instead of that, 5 years, if she feels like she's complied with everything that she raised that in a motion, and for, either to go unsupervised or to have another amendment. The state would not recommend setting the date at this point. The court, okay, understood. I plan to be around at least for the next 4.5 years. So if Miss King decides within that time period, and if God and the citizens are willing that I'm here longer than, I'll hear a motion from Miss King. So at this point in time, I would deny the behavioral incentive date and sentence as has been presented. I guess, the total sentence is 10 years to serve 1 year commuted to time served, the balance on probation with a $5,000 fine, and all of the other conditions as laid out by the state. The only clarification, she wanted to make sure that the $5,000 fine not opposed to each count, correct? Yes, correct. We'll put that on count 14. Okay. All right, Miss King, do you hear and understand all of the questions and information from the Assistant District Attorney? Miss Howell says yes. And do you understand all of the rights that you have and the rights that you are giving up by entering this guilty plea today? Yes, Your Honor. Is it your choice to enter this guilty plea and give up those rights? Yes, Your Honor. All right, very well. Then I find that you understand the nature of the charges, the consequences of entering this guilty plea, and that your guilty plea is freely, knowingly, and voluntarily entered, that you are freely, knowingly waiving your rights, and there is a factual basis to accept the plea of guilty, your plea of guilty. So I do accept your plea of guilty, and I will sentence you as negotiated. Count 14, 10 years to serve 1 in custody. That will be commuted to time that you've already served. The balance will be on probation. You will have to pay $5,000 fine, pay a $5,000 fine along with other conditions as laid out by the district attorney's office. You are not allowed to serve as a fiduciary or in a fiduciary capacity. If you are not, of course, not allowed to hold yourself out as or to represent yourself as an attorney, counsel at law. You're not allowed to possess or withhold any other individual's identification. Of course, as part of probation, you are waiving your Fourth Amendment right to be free from search and seizure. You will testify truthfully and honestly if called upon by the state related to the co-defendant Earnest Williams. You're not to have any contact with Earnest Williams, the co-defendant. You're not allowed to have any contact and stay away from the named victims in this case. And of course, no violations of the law. Did I miss anything? I don't believe so, Judge. And Judge, would the court like for me to send that exact language to Miss Gorman? Please Send it to Miss Gorman. Yes. No violations of the law, and any violation of probation is to come back before this court. Okay. So if there's any violation, Miss King, you and I will be having a different conversation. Yes, Your Honor. Count 17 will be 12 months to commuted 2 times served. Count 18, 5 years, serve 1, commuted 2 times served, balance on probation. Counts 19, 20, 21, 10 years to serve 1. That 1 year commuted to time served, balance on probation with all of the conditions as laid out. Count 32, 12 months commuted to time served. Count 33, 34, 35, 10 years commuted to 1 year commuted to time served, balance on probation with all of the conditions laid out. Count 37, 12 months commuted to time served. Then count 38, 10 years served to serve 1 with 1 year is commuted to time served. If she does anything in the next decade and she finds herself in trouble, she's going to prison. They can probate her sentence. 19 felonies is some nasty living. Okay. All right, let me get like 2 sips of water, guys. Okay. Any violation of probation is to be returned back to this court. Yes, Your Honor. So he wants to know if something goes down, he wants it to come directly to him. That's what's going to be noted. Okay. All right. Very well. That's the order of the court. Good luck to you, Miss King. Thank you very much, Attorney Howell, litigation manager. And just for confirmation, are counts 7 through 13 being no pros? No, I think she pled on 7 through 14. Wooten said, I apologize. They are. I left those out. I'll clarify that with counsel and provide an update. So they didn't dismiss them. They didn't dismiss ERICKA's other charges. They no processed them. Or as someone else would say, no processed. Okay. Which means no process means they could come back. Okay. Okay, so tell me so we can have something on the record. Well, Judge, the intent was not to no pros anything. It was a plea to all the counts as charged. I believe all the misdemeanors are 12 months to serve commuted as time served. All of the felonies accepted for the false statements. Okay. And the false statements is a 5 serve 1 because of the sentence range. All right, Miss King, I want to make sure that because you walk out, yeah, the court count 7 was conspiracy to practice law, which is a misdemeanor. Yes, that's 12 months commuted to time served. Count 8 was filing false statements. Is that a 10-year? Yes, Judge, 10 to serve 1, commuted, balance on probation. Count 9 and 10 are identity fraud. Is that 9, 10, 11 are identity fraud 10 years? Yes, that's 10 years. 10 years to serve 1, that's 1 commuted, 2 times served, the balance on probation. And then 13 is also identity fraud, 10 years to serve 1, balance on 1 year commuted to time served, balance on probation. And then the court count 12 is filing false statements, also 10 years to serve commuted, balance on probation. So the total sentence, Miss King, is 10 years to serve 1, commuted to time served, balance on probation with a $5,000 fine. I understand, Your Honor. All right, thank you. Good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you, Judge. I'll send those conditions now. The court, yes, sir. Thank you. And court is adjourned. Oh, my goodness. Whew. Okay, we read that. That's what happened in court on that day. Okay. So, going back to, hold on one second. Let me find Mr. Williams. It's not giving. I don't know why it's not doing a search for me. Oh, I guess this isn't a PDF. I don't know what this is. Okay. It's not giving. So we saw Ernest Williams' name in here more than a few times, and I feel like we've heard some of the accusations. I mean, we've heard all of this before, the Regina Delaney, but it did break it down in a little bit of a different way. I mean, it is giving that whether Nesto says she was working for him or not, we already know that at the end of the day, the things that were going on that she was attorneying for, I'm sitting here doing air quotes, were all in Nesto's best interest. Like, there was no interest for her to be in his Zooms or conducting his business if she wasn't getting paid some sort of fee or doing something for him as some sort of backdoor lawyer. So we already know this. She can't be guilty and he be innocent, because at the end of the day, we know that we know these things actually did happen. Nesto was in a Zoom hearing with her. She filed papers. I'm sure they probably have forensic evidence like IP addresses, her sign on. There could be a host of different data points and references that point to her doing these things that have nothing to do with her other than her association with Mr. Williams. I'm going to say it one more time. She can't be guilty and he be innocent. These were not, the dispossessory had nothing to do with her. She did not live at Bent Creek. Shirley Strawberry did with Nesto. Okay. The Harley Davidson, he had possession of that motorcycle. It was sitting over on Pine Grove Road. And one of those motorcycles he was riding on, at one point when he met up with Sonia. Sonia saw him on the motorcycle, one of those motorcycles. Okay. So, boom. What annoys me with these scammers, they're so smart, but won't do something legal. Well, it's not in them. They're criminals. I guess the myth about dumb criminals is not true. They're not all dumb. Are you listening to Boney and IS? What does that mean? Am I listening? Are you listening? Oh, are you listening, Boney and IS from the bushes? I don't know. They might be. She was ready. Yeah, she was ready day one. Yes, I got you. Okay. I had to read it like a second or third time. I was like, what? She's on probation. You might not be far enough yet, one Jennifer. The initial offer. So I posted it like a week or two ago. So it's on my community page. Just scroll down. Once you get towards the end, you'll hear everything, but she's on probation for 10 years. She's on probation for 10 years. She's on probation for 10 years. Anyway, guys, let me see if you guys have any other questions. But yes, she's on probation for 10 years. Okay. She's on probation for 10 years, and yes. Okay. Anything else, guys? Okay. Do you feel feel like this provided some additional insights because I know I saw it on either Pam's or Dennis's channel. I feel like reading it again, but it's also been like over a year since this happened. Just kind of get a good refresh, right? Here's the thing. She should be mature enough to handle a sentence like that. Girl, stay out of trouble. If you can stay out of trouble for the 10 years, like most normal people, you'll be fine. If you want to go with the shits, Judge Dunaway said, you coming right back here and I'm going to talk to you and it's not going to be present. It's not going to be pleasant and I will be present. Okay. And you're going to go back to jail. Okay. You're going to go to jail and you're going to do, because if we didn't see anything, girl, when it was time for Judge Page to send Mutong, they sent him back to prison so fast. It was like, what? They're sending, I mean, you're going to message me on IG? Okay. Right now or later? Okay, guys. Let me scroll back. It is on Pam's channel. Yes. You sure? You know what was sad? I really, really, really felt bad for April Holloway. She had a lot going on. And I don't think sometimes criminals think about the victim and what's going to happen to them. Okay, Petty, did you just or gonna be for later? All right, let me see. Okay. Okay, someone asked me a question. We just read all of that. Maybe I don't know I'm not sure who this is from. Fran, what was the judge name that ERICKA posed as April? What was the judge name again that ERICKA posed as April? We should see if we can find. I think they took them offline when they realized what happened. Trust me, that was looked for a long time ago. It was Todd Ashley and there was Judge Todd Ashley. If you go back when I was somewhere around like page 13, 14, 15, something like that, it was Judge Todd Ashley and Judge Ashley Drake, two different judges. Todd Ashley and Ashley Drake. Those were the two judges. As far as the Zoom hearings, they're not online. I think once they realized that some fraud happened, they were taken down. Someone said once upon a time that they thought they saw what happened. We're going to see that in court. I'm almost positive of it. I'm surprised they haven't showed it yet. But when the conspiracy comes up, they can't not show it. I mean, that's proof right there. And yeah, those became evidence in because yeah. So those will be there, but I've never been able to find those in like the 2 years. 2 years ago when I heard about this, 2.5 years, how long it's been. Yeah, those videos were already taken down. I think they basically became evidence and they were taken down. Yeah, she seems like she went through a lot and it was very traumatic for her. The other lawyers, we haven't heard from them, but I'm sure they weren't happy about that either. Okay. I mean, I haven't seen anything like sometimes some stuff just doesn't come through. My messages aren't all submitted, no cuss words. Uh I don't know what to say, hon. I know, yeah. I wish I had an IT magic wand, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say. I appreciate you bubbling it up, but there is legit nothing I can do about it. Have any of the mods been working overtime? I have not seen any messages deleted or anything like that. Um, I'm on live chat. Make sure you're on live chat and not on top chat. That's number 1. You might be on live chat, but I wouldn't know that. But if you're not on live chat, make sure you're on live chat. Um, yeah, I mean, this is YouTube is such a big platform. You got to think about there's like a million other people chatting right now. Some stuff just I think there's just known glitches. You know what I mean? I don't think they get it perfect all the time. And I just think that there's known glitches. So just I would appreciate, just as someone who knows that we don't really practice in censoring too much, that there's no harm, no foul. We're not trying to censor. I'm certainly not trying to censor anyone's comments, and neither are any of the moderators. Just chalk it up to shit ain't always gonna go right. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even explain why it happens. It just does. You know what I mean? But we're not in practice of that. That's not this channel. I don't get into that. You know what I mean? If someone is not welcome here, I think they know it. You know what I mean? And you're certainly more than welcome and certainly very much appreciated. So yeah, sorry that that happened, but I wish I could do something about that. Okay, guys, I feel like that is what I had for you guys today. If I come across anything else, I will definitely keep you guys abreast of what's going on. Um I think we're going to have Mexican in a little while. We're going to a Mexican restaurant. So I appreciate you, sis. Thank you so much, hon. Do you think the state can win without ERICKA? They don't why they don't need to. They have ERICKA. ERICKA is mandated to why would they need to proceed without ERICKA? They have ERICKA in their back pocket. She signed a contract. ERICKA's freedom is they do you think the state can win without ERICKA? Um So only 4. So at the very beginning, keep in mind 80% CMOS. At the very beginning, they stated that Mr. Williams has 26 separate offenses in this RICO, and only 4 of the schemes included ERICKA. So to your point, she's just a small fraction of what he's got going on. ERICKA is just a small fraction of what he's got going on. Um, Hold on. What did they say? Keep in mind, ERICKA King is not the RICO. Hold on. While Mr. Williams is charged with approximately 26 separate criminal schemes within the RICO, this defendant involved is limited to 4. So can they win without ERICKA? I guess so. Why not? I mean, he's involved in 26 separate schemes. 22 have nothing to do with ERICKA King. That doesn't mean the counts, but the separate schemes within the what makes up the RICO, right? So that being said, sure. But ERICKA has to testify. ERICKA is obligated to testify. And those are some slam dunks right there. Now, also, if you factor in Shirley Strawberry, that's a whole nother part of a scheme that is going to be part of the slam dunk. Because if there was any part of the evidence that Judge Dunaway didn't think would allow the search and seizure, then the motion to suppress the vehicle evidence wouldn't have come in. But basically, when he allowed for the motion to suppress to be denied, the motion to suppress the vehicle search, that basically confirms that the evidence supplied go in favor that he did not own the vehicle, that he did not have any rights to the vehicle, and that information that was obtained, that evidence that was obtained in the vehicle, is some pretty damaging evidence. So that's also part of the identity theft. So that's just, he got himself a whole nother bunch of crimes. He got himself identity theft, using Shirley Strawberry's information without her permission. So by denying the motion to suppress, basically confirms that there was enough evidence to prove that there was an identity theft, because he has no standing, no privileges, no rights to that vehicle. So, yeah. There's so many schemes that he has going on. ERICKA King is definitely going to be a slam dunk. I think Shirley Strawberry. There's just so much going on here. But yeah, they don't even have to get along without ERICKA. They don't have to get along without Shirley. Shirley is obviously participating. ERICKA King is obviously participating. There's other defendants, there's other witnesses that will testify, because people are out of money, all kinds of things. They've filed insurance claims against Miss Scretchen. She filed an insurance claim. So she has something at stake. If you file an insurance claim, and Sonia knows about that, if you file an insurance claim false, that's insurance fraud. So we know, I'm sure Melody Scretchen, the teacher, would not do something like that. So I'm sure she will be coming right on down as soon as she's contacted to come and testify and tell her version of the story as it pertains to Mr. Williams. And then when you've got Mr. Williams stating, well, they didn't know I sold the car. Okay, you sold the car to the person who you were alleged to have actually sexually assaulted. And that family member got arrested in the vehicle because they thought the sale of the vehicle was transacted, and it wasn't. And according to a jail call, Mr. Williams told Boneytail, aka Sonia Durham Waller, that someone paid him US currency for Miss Scretchen's car. Miss Scretchen didn't get any money for that. He told the story himself. He implicated himself, said he sold it to the young lady who accused him of sexual assault. And when she was in the Dominican Republic, it was either her auntie or her grandmother got arrested because Miss Scretchen reported the vehicle stolen because she filed a claim with her insurance. There's just so much. Okay. Y'all, hold on a second. Oh, I was gonna, but I don't have it on this profile. Anywho, y'all, it's a mess. They've not only deposed her, she has interviewed, she came through on a proper proffer. They have a contract with her for her truthful testimony. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I mean, anyone can say anything, but this is what I'm going to say is there's a lot of people that have a lot to say. Not a lot of people. There's a few who have a lot to say about what's going to happen to this man. What I would suggest is clear your own legal situations and then let us know. Okay? Once you clear what you got going on, once you clear that up, and once that's cleared, you can speak on what somebody else got going on. But as long as you got a situation that is giving you consternation of a felony or misdemeanor situation, you might want to focus on that. And once you get that rectified and you don't have to testify, then you might be qualified. Okay? Period.
God's been too good to me. Believe I shout. Believe I shout. Believe I shout. Believe I shout. He healed me. He healed me. He broke me. He told me. He kept me. Never left me. Believe I will. Believe I will. Believe I will. I shout now. Shout. 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 Shout.
Handle your own legal problems. If you go handle your own legal problems, then maybe you could speak on someone else's. But as long as you got active cases, baby, have a seat. Okay? That's what I would say. If you have an active case, have a seat. Okay? If you have a current summons, it would be here for those who would stop coming to the alternative to the cases where they could still be implicated. Okay?
God's been good. God's been too good to me. God's been too good to me. Believe I shout. Believe I shout. Believe I shout. Believe I shout. He healed me. He healed me.
I know Hoover's mad.
He told me. He kept me. Never left me. Believe I will. Believe I will.
And Hoover actually may have clients that really are serious about their cases. Hey, Bible lady. If you did not watch the member live from last night, go check it out. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Hold on a second. Oh, man. Am I in the right place? Hold on a second. Look, let me do this. Okay, here we go. I meant to do this earlier, but I'm glad things just have their way of working out. Okay. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. If you have not had a chance to see the member, if you're behind on member lives, I just gifted 10 memberships. So hopefully somebody in there has not seen what's been going on in members. Go catch up. Go ahead. Get caught up. Thank you so much, Sandy girl. Thank you, hun. I appreciate you, boo. Y'all, have been so good to me, and I appreciate that. And I hope anyone who got gifted today, Shy Girl, um, our good sis 80% CMOS, go check out and see what's going on in members. Last night I am working on with a new um platform provider. So I was testing it out last night. Go get a sneak peek of what's coming and what we talked about last night. We cut up a little bit and just whatever else. If you haven't been in members, there's at least something new a few times a week. So okay. Because we don't just like go live and put stuff in members. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually make content specifically for members. So anything that's in members, you're not gonna necessarily have seen it out here. Okay. What else? Okay. So go enjoy. You're welcome, you guys. I appreciate y'all so much. You guys really made me feel special. I had a lovely birthday. And I appreciate it so much. And you guys helped to do that as well. Friday was so much fun. We had a wonderful time in the live. And did I go live yesterday? Oh yeah, I did last night. And then today. If I can, I will come back, but I got some stuff to do today. So I might, but if you don't see me, you'll see me tomorrow lunchtime. Okay. Also, your video is my anniversary day. Oh, okay. I hope you had a wonderful anniversary. I do. I do. Thank you guys. I will see you guys a little bit later on. Like I said, if not, then I'll see you guys at lunchtime tomorrow. Okay. Thank you for my happy birthdays. You guys, amazing. Thank you. Belated happy birthday. My B-day was 9/10 Virgo 2. Absolutely. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to all my Virgo family. I hope that you guys enjoyed and feeling all the love. It's Virgo season is just the best. Okay. Absolutely the best. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So thank you guys so much. All right, you guys, have a good one. I'll see you a little bit later. Take care.
You can sleep. Side hand, I'll be that too. Because chicks are young and this chick is old. So I'll be the side hand. Thank you, Reggie, for correcting her. I will be the side chick. The mistress, the side chick, the hand. It's whatever. I mean, name calling is what y'all do. That's you can sleep. Side hand, I'll be that too. Because chicks are young and this chick is old. So I'll be the side hand. Thank you, Reggie, for correcting her. I will